Hi everyone, Aiden here with etrailer. Today, we're going to be taking a look at the RockyMounts HighNoon FC platform style bike rack and seeing how it fits on our 2023 Subaru Outback Wagon. Now this is going to be a bike rack designed for bikes with fenders. I've got our front wheel hook set up kind of in the position that you'd have it if you had a front fender that maybe came out to about here. Now more often than not, with a bike rack that uses a front wheel hook like this, you have to put it pretty much as close to the forks as it can go for maximum security. And for bikes with fenders, that really doesn't work because then you're pressing down on the fender, putting pressure where it shouldn't be, and not always getting a good hold. With this, you do retain the nice wheel hook, so we're not making any frame contact, but it utilizes an extra strap underneath and down below to hold that front wheel captive and keep it from turning. So if you do have fenders on your bike and you're looking for an option that is compatible with that, this could be the way for you. Like I mentioned, there's no frame contact, so good for carbon frame and alternative frame bikes. And it does support a weight capacity of 45 pounds per bike if we're using all three slots here. If you're using just the first two, you can hold up to 60 pounds per bike, so good for some e-bikes. If you don't need the 3-bike capacity, you can get this as a 2-bike and just worry about that. You don't have to worry about the 3 bikes. So you've got options there, depending on how many bikes you need to carry with this, if you like the design. Like many other platform racks in this class, you do have the ability to tilt away with bikes loaded. Down below, underneath the second tray, there's a handle. So just pull that and lower the whole thing down. That will allow you to get access to the back of your vehicle, opening up the hatch on the Outback with plenty of clearance. Even our larger mountain bike here with the wider handlebars, no clearance issues, and plenty of room to step back here to load up the back, maybe sit down, have a place to change our shoes before or after our ride, whatever we might need. One other thing I will point out with this, as far as bike compatibility goes, it does support a maximum tire width of 5 inches. So if you have a fat tire bike, it's going to work great on here as well. We can just lift the rack up. You'll hear a nice audible click letting us know it's locked in place and good to go. And we can take this opportunity to get the bike unloaded. We'll start off with the back wheel strap. That's going to be a very traditional ratcheting strap, just pressing in on the button and pushing the strap out. We can then turn our attention to these extra rubber straps up at the front tire. First doing the one on the bottom, and then doing the one at the top, which feeds through the wheel right here. And then with one hand on the bike, one hand on the arm, press the release lever, push up and out. Now with the 3-bike, you do have to lean over quite a bit to get to this inner tray, but it's not too bad overall, and you've got a fair amount of room to work. I'll set this to the side, and we can take a closer look at the rack itself. One of the things I like about it is the fact that most of these straps have a good place to store up, so they're not freely moving around. This one can just store back on itself, and we can put this wheel hook down. This front cradle will fold up, and this bottom strap can actually rotate back to this side, where it just extends across to that post, nice and out of the way. And then we can check out the back wheel cradle here, which does pivot back and forth to accommodate for different wheelbases up to 50 inches. So you get a lot of adjustability with your bikes here. Other terms of adjustability are going to be the trays. So you can see they stack up and are varied heights as you go to the back. They start to get higher and higher. This helps with bike-to-bike contact, but also gives us a much better ground clearance. At the back end of our Outback, the lowest point of the rack is going to sit 27 inches from the ground, which is more than enough, I think, for most applications. Even if you're going, maybe doing some mild off-roading, then I think you're going to be just fine. It does add a fair bit of length to the back of your Outback, though. From the bumper to the end of the rack, coming in at 43 inches, it does stick out a fair bit. So if you're driving around with this fully loaded, just be mindful that it's back there when you're backing out or just parking spots. You can save some of that space though. If you want to leave it in the hitch between rides, pull that same lever we used before to tilt it away, and we can use that to fold it up. That's going to save a lot of space. Now only sticking out 13 inches from the bumper. This makes it way more compact for things like your garage at home, your driveway, or parking lots. It doesn't sit too close to the bumper either. I'd say the closest point is probably right here, coming in at 4 inches of space. So there's more than enough room to not worry about vehicle contact, and it's also a solid rack, so I'm not too worried about it there either. Working our way down, we'll notice that we've got a locking point right here for the cable lock, and at the hitch, it's working with our 2-inch by 2-inch receiver tube. The anti-rattle bolt is going to keep it nice and solid in that receiver tube, and it's a locking anti-rattle bolt, so we don't have to worry about people messing with it when we're not around. And overall, I think it's going to be a really solid bike rack. If you don't have any need for the extra support for bikes with fenders, I'd maybe check out something like the RockyMounts monorail, or even the RockyMounts guide rail, with the guide rail being maybe the nicer of the two. Definitely some nice features with that one and really solid construction, but the monorail is going to be a really solid option too. Whichever way you go, I think it's going to be a really solid fit on the 2023 Subaru Outback Wagon. Thanks for watching.